Yeah. Hey man, all I'm saying is, nigga, you always got something to say. It's like you don't shut up.
Blazing on the track.
A lot of niggas died 1865. Single Michael fled high, I ain't gon' let it ride. Everybody hollering black was never on your side. They do maps to tell your apps where you sleep at night. They put that white man on. Got you begging them for answers like that white man know. Had you swearing you was African, that's that white man home. Had you proud to be a savage, that's that white man zone. And I ain't talking shit, this by definition. And being savage was our nature, y'all be non-existent. We done took your ass out when we was in them kitchens. Instead of showing you how to live and how to maintain business. White supremacy fake. Only way that shit real is if you do what they say. We the God to the gate, so when they say they fear God, now you
see my life has been in motion. I'm a little windy. I'm not giving up yet. If you with me, time to place up your bet. Ain't no turning back, got niggas who ran. When we caught his ass, got caught in that jam. Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah, you know who I am. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. Is that feeling in your stomach? You can feel it coming. Is that feeling in your stomach? You can feel it coming. Yeah, you can feel it coming. Fake love, snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, that that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, that that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, that that's how.
So dope, my eyes low. When you move like God, the time slow. I came back for the blacks and John Doe's. Crack open them land patents, let go of them townhomes. What's a native to a native? He $5 dough if he not melanated. Pale faces got you waiting on a savior. Sending prayers up, he texting back on vacation. Yeah, God's children. Give all your praise to Jesus, but how God feeling? He say put no one before him in divine image. It's you with God of Christians. I got a vision, but niggas ain't gotta listen, so they don't. We came from the soil, wasn't fucking with no boats. Bible took our spirit, English potted on our homes. Tribal families turned on us, don't act like y'all don't know. But fuck them and they grudges. We was something turned to nothing. And now we nothing's turned to something. Reincarnation of ancients, fresh up out the oven. This the message to the black man. 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 Shooters on my roof, lawyers in the coop. We can never die, bitch, we bulletproof. This the message to the black man. This the message to the black man. Say you wasn't slaves, you was prisoners of war. You stop wasting your time, these other bitches ain't important. You ain't meditating, you ain't mating with the sauce. Like what the fuck's a noodle if you ain't painted with the sauce? I find it hard to trust the pastor who rather side with the master, who preaching we should submit while getting murdered and captured. About how we should wait on God is never our vernacular.
Niggas died 1865. Yeah. Hey man, all I'm saying is, nigga, you always got something to say. It's like you don't shut up.
Blazing on the track.
A lot of niggas died 1865. Single Michael fled high, I ain't gon' let it ride. Everybody hollering black was never on your side. They do maps to tell your apps where you sleep at night. They put that white man on. Got you begging them for answers like that white man know. Had you swearing you was African, that's that white man home. Had you proud to be a savage, that's that white man zone. And I ain't talking shit, this by definition. And being savage was our nature, y'all be non-existent. We done took your ass out when we was in them kitchens. Instead of showing you how to live and how to maintain business. White supremacy fake. Only way that shit real is if you do what they say.
Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. The alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me care. I gotta sleep with one eye open. Children been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling deep my stomach. Paranoid, yeah. I won't let them care. They won't see me care. I gotta sleep with one eye open. Children been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling deep my stomach. Paranoid, yeah. I can't let them care. They won't see me care. I put attention, all of my blood, all of my veins. They started with Perky, now that hair right up his veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with dealing, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, children been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stern. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them care. They won't see me care. I gotta sleep with one eye open, children been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stern. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them care. They won't see me care.
Lost, see, I glossed too, we shit ain't been the same. Heard the
Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. The alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me care. I gotta sleep with one eye open. Children been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them care. They won't see me care. I gotta sleep with one eye open. Children been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them care. They won't see me care. I put attention, all of my blood, all of my veins. They started with Perky, now that hair right up his veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with dealing, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, children been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stern. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them care. They won't see me care. I gotta sleep with one eye open, children been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stern. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them care. They won't see me care.
lost, see, I glossed too, we shit ain't been the same. Heard the ops talking to the feds, giving names. Who gon' feed my family if they take me out the game? Keep one in the head and one eye open, that ain't change. I'm quick to catch a body. When I shoot, he shoot, I know I'm shooting right beside me. Them hollow tips go through the wall and then they hit his body.
Peace, peace, peace. Peace and blessings to all the American Aborigines. Shout out to the FBA brothers and sisters tuning in. Make sure y'all drop them fire emojis in the chat to let me know y'all can hear me loud and clear. A lot of people been asking, requesting for the song that y'all hearing on the intro. It's an exclusive song. That song ain't nowhere. You can only hear it here. We probably will be shooting a video to that soon. We get ready to drop that. That's a couple local brothers that I deal with in Delaware, so go check them out. P&B, Eli, and Hellway. All right, so make sure y'all go check them brothers out on social media. Definitely got good quality music that we putting out. Shout out to Trey Ali as well. That's one of the artists you also heard throughout this live stream. So go check out Trey Ali. Trey Ali. That's on all streaming platforms. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. I'm feeling good. How the hell y'all feeling? How the fuck y'all feeling out there today? I'm feeling great. How y'all? How y'all? I'm feeling great. So hopefully y'all doing great. Hopefully y'all doing fantastic as we get ready to start this grand rising. So I didn't see no fire emojis in the chat, so I don't even know if y'all can hear me. So if y'all can hear me, Drop those fire emojis right now. All right. Go ahead and drop those fire emojis. This is the Wake and Bake. This is the Wake and Bake show, man. You already know we lit. This is the littest channel on the motherfucking YouTube right now. So I'm rolling up some of this gas. I got one roll. I'm about to roll another one. Y'all know how we do. So let me take my time out to take the time out. Shout out people that took their time out to come rock with me over here this Grand Rising. So let me shout out to the brothers and sisters that's in the chat. Shout out to Suda Natural, Maurice Miller, Knots, I'm Done, Samaj, J Knight, Juan Torres, Matthew Simmons, Chick Homedy Roots, J Rock, No Name, Tom Jones. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. Shout out to my nigga Tom Jones in the motherfucking building. David Bell in the building. Darius Matthews, Wilmore Reed, Michelle Norton, Maurice Miller, Afro Troops. Who else we got up in here? Brandon Rogers, Mr. Brandon Rogers to you. Eastside 1415. We got Mr. Neil in this motherfucker. Brian Flat Power. Haru the Duke of Great Lakes. Turtle Island Easy. Copper Color Nation. Shout out to everybody that tuned in. This great Grand Rising. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Hopefully I ain't miss anyone else up in this motherfucker. Rashad Ivory, Boss Player, Khalid, Pop Reed, Shy Alpha, Thio, Just a Ray of Hope. Shout out to Just a Ray of Hope. Jesse Stevenson's. Howdy. Jesse Stevens. Shout out to y'all, man. Hey, first things first, I need y'all to hit that like button. Thumb up the video. Smash that like button for your boy. Go thumb up that video. Don't forget to support the channel. Links ticking across at the bottom of the screen, or you can look at the bottom right of the screen where the tag is. So if y'all want to donate and support the channel, please feel free. All right. Let me shout out to Kevin Gilbert for sending the cash out donations, for supporting the Dollar Challenge. Shout out to Matthew for the cash out donation, supporting the Dollar Challenge as well. Shout out to Matthew. And shout out to Kevin Gilbert. Shout out to you guys for supporting the channel. We really, really appreciate all the support. You feel me, for the time and content that we try to put out. Shout out to everybody for literally getting on code, man. It's beautiful. You know, this summer coming up, we're putting together venues and lectures we want y'all to be involved with. We want y'all to be able to come and get that energy in real time, so we can be able to start working on real solutions that we don't need to be broadcasting on open forums. So we need to get into a area where we can have these meetups and get mobilizing within our areas and start educating the local community. So we will be doing the lectures coming up this summer. So if anybody want to book bookings or inquiries, email me and we can work out the logistics on that. So shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Like I said, peace and blessings to each and every one of you guys. We're going to start off with a little information, then I'm going to get into what the actual nitty-gritty of the conversation is. Who are the blacks in America? We're going to get into that. But I kind of want to get into some history aspect from a different lens of just strictly dealing with the Americas and how scientific community shits on archaeology, paleontology, and other scientific methods to prove human existence here. They kind of shine away or hide the facts that comes out of this. So shout out to Suda Natural as well. Suda Natural for the cash app donation as well. We want to say appreciate that from Suda Natural. All right. Let's get ready to this live stream off, right? Before we get right into that, I'm gonna need y'all to hit the like button, thumb up the video, and to support the channel. If you haven't did so yet, I'm gonna give y'all 30 seconds to hit the like button. Let's get it. All right, all right, all right. We back, we back, we back. So I'm gonna play this interview from a journalist and an author who wrote a book. I forget the name of the goddamn book. Excuse me, but this motherfucker about to go in on America and some science and some of the complications out of it. Let's get into that.
Göbekli Tepe is discovered. It dates to 11,600 years ago. It's more than 5,000 years older than the supposedly oldest megalithic architecture in the world. And it is in a center where there had been no previous evidence of agriculture. But the moment Göbekli Tepe appears, agriculture appears as well. And this is just something that's really hard for archaeology to explain. They've suddenly got 5,000 years of missing history that they've just never taken into account. And what I see them doing is largely avoiding the problem rather than getting to grips with it directly. And in fact, there have been a great number of changes in the last 20 years, which have worked generally in favor of the arguments that I've proposed.
Well, I'm so happy for you because I know that for a long time you were out there on your own with a lot of these theories.
Very, very much so, and also subjected to the most blistering and deeply unpleasant criticism from the archaeological fraternity and from their friends in the media, like how dare this journalist propose that history might be different or that we might have a forgotten chapter in the human story. It was regarded almost as offensive that I would put this material out there, and archaeologists felt it was their responsibility to show the public that I was full of shit, and that was the whole way my work was greeted, and to a certain extent still is greeted by archaeologists. But things have changed. Central to my work was the notion of a global cataclysm, roughly 12,500, 12,800 years ago. It made sense to me in 1995 when I wrote Fingerprints of the Gods, but there was no compelling evidence for a global cataclysm then. All the evidence seemed to point to that time and a massive global event. And then from 2007 onwards, more than a decade after I wrote Fingerprints of the Gods, we get a group of more than 60 major scientists who are seriously proposing that the Earth was hit by multiple fragments of a giant comet 12,800 years ago, and that this caused a huge rise in sea level and extinctions of megafaunas. They are not saying that it also wiped out a lost advanced civilization of prehistory. I'm saying that. Yes. But what has changed is that we now have compelling, hard scientific evidence. I'm not saying every scientist accepts it. It's the nature of science to dispute findings. But we have a group of 60 major figures who have seriously proposed this in all the leading mainstream journals. And it's changed the balance of power in this argument, because one thing that they used to say is Hancock can't be right because there was no global cataclysm, 12 or 13,000 years ago. Well, now we know there was, and there are various explanations for it. So that's moved things along. And the other thing that's changed a lot is the attitude of the man in the street to authority. That has changed. Back in the 90s, authority figures were the gatekeepers. They controlled everything. If an authority figure in a discipline like archaeology said, Hancock is completely wrong, he's made all this stuff up, that would generally be believed, not by it.
And that's by the academic community. They are the gatekeepers. Now listen to how he explained how these gatekeepers in the academic field, these scientific communities, withhold shit.
Everybody, but by the majority of people. Today, to have a mainstream authority figure say that to me is actually an advantage, because people are so distrustful of authority, and rightly so, because we've been lied to by authority figures in all fields for so long. The bullshit has been so enormous that people are finally waking up. We can't trust what authority figures say.
And I think we can thank the internet for that.
We can thank the internet for that, yeah.
I'm sure you've seen the more recent evidence of a crater that they just discovered, like fairly recently.
Greenland.
Yes, enormous.
It's an enormous crater. It's 18 miles wide. It had not been discovered before because it's under ice. It's under a lot of ice. At the end of the Ice Age, Greenland was one area which never lost its ice cover completely, whereas North America, everywhere north of Minnesota, was covered in ice a mile, sometimes 2 miles deep. Europe, the same, Northern Europe. But Greenland kept its ice, whereas the other parts of the world lost their ice at the end of the Ice Age. And what's interesting about Greenland is there's already evidence of comet impact in Greenland, which goes back to papers published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences in 2013, that they found what are called impact proxies in Greenland. In other words, nanodiamonds, carbon spherules, and evidence of a lot of platinum and iron was found in a layer in the ice dated to 12,800 years ago. But the next development, that you're absolutely right, and this was just a few months ago, was the discovery of this humongous crater in Greenland and evident.
And mind you, y'all, I want y'all to keep this in consideration. Greenland is closer to the Americas than the Caribbean islands are. You can look that up right now. Greenland is closer to America in proximity than the Caribbean islands. All right, y'all. So it's very close. It could almost be argued that it's part of America. Shout out to Just a Ray of Hope for the Cash App donation. We appreciate all the support. We really do. Shout out to Just a Ray of Hope for supporting and sending the Cash App donation. We appreciate all the support. So make sure y'all support the channel, you guys. Tags at the bottom right of the screen. Make sure y'all drop them fire emojis in the chat. Shout out to all the FBA Aboriginal brothers and sisters in the chat. We're going to get into a scientific aspect of the conversation right now. Then we get into more of the broad basis of what the title is based on later on in the show. So right now we kind of deal with the scientific angle of things. So make sure y'all share the live stream and thumb up the video.
That it was caused by an iron impactor of some kind. Now, dating of it, I would be irresponsible to say that that crater definitely dates to 12,800 years ago, because the work has not been done to prove that yet. But what I can say, and what the specialists who have explored and excavated the crater are saying, is that it's recent. They can say for sure that it happened during the last ice age. Under it, under the crater, is nothing but massively disturbed and destroyed and completely wrecked ice from the ice age, from the Pleistocene. Above it is smooth, perfect ice from our epoch, which is called the Holocene, which began about 11,600 years ago. So all the evidence suggests that this crater dates to that period between 12,800 and 11,600 years ago. But to absolutely confirm that, more work needs to be done. But it's part of a growing pattern. The Younger Dryas impact scientists, they call themselves, they call this the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis. And it's because there was a period in the Earth's geological history that geologists call the Younger Dryas, which lasted for 1,200 years.
Yeah, that's the Neanderthal. Joe Rogan, remember he said y'all look like motherfucking monkeys?
It's from 12,800 to 11,600 years ago. It's a very mysterious period. We see all the megafauna dying off suddenly. And
well, Shay Pink 40, Canada is just another government in an imaginary line that you see. But in reality, in fact, Canada is North America. It's a continuous land of the north part of the continent. So it's actually all part of North America, from Canada to the bottom of Texas is all considered North America.
But we see rises in sea level. We see a huge collapse in global temperature. It's a cataclysmic epoch, and what is becoming clearer and clearer is that the evidence that a comet was behind it is extremely strong. And as more and more evidence comes in, we realize how widespread it was. So they found evidence of the impacts as far south as Antarctica now. Previously, they were focused very much on North America. Now, as far south as Antarctica, as far east as Syria. This was truly a global event, and it changed the world. And I think, and it's my case, that it wiped our memory of a previous episode of human civilization. Right at the epicenter of this cataclysm was a civilization that we would regard as advanced, not a simple hunter-gatherer civilization, which was utterly wiped out in this cataclysmic event.
And I should say, for anyone who's really fascinated right now, please maybe pause and go listen to the two that you did with Randall Carlson, yes, where it really goes into depth about the impact, the evidence of these impacts, yes, the evidence of the very quick demise of the Ice Age, and what may have resulted in all these floods that you read about in the Epic of Gilgamesh, that you read about in Noah's Ark, and that all these things are probably tales of stories that people pass down from generation to generation that survived this time.
Yeah, because we now know that at that time, between 12,800 and 11,600 years ago, truly global cataclysmic events involving rapid rises in sea level did occur, and suddenly the worldwide tradition of a global flood stops being just a myth and starts being a memory. An account of real events. It's been my privilege to work very closely with Randall Carlson.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Randall is absolutely amazing. He is a total genius. He's also a gentle.
And if y'all don't know who Randall Carlson is, he deals with the geology and the actual impact points of the younger Dryas and the older Dryas, dealing with Tunguska out in Nevada, or Deadman Falls out in Utah. He's showing the impact points. He's a great reference when it deals with science and geometry, dealing with the impact. So make sure y'all go look up Randall Carlson.
Giant and such a kind, generous spirit.
He's definitely been giving them hell in the scientific community, challenging their narrative with raw data that hasn't been challenged yet.
Person. It's a joy to work with him, and every minute spent with him is an education. I had the privilege of traveling across the Channel Scablands in Washington State with Randall, and seeing things through his eyes really opened my eyes to the scale of this disaster. You know, you could look at these giant boulders called glacial erratics, and they just look odd sitting there in the landscape. But when you really consider how they got there, that they got there in icebergs the size of oil tankers, that were carried on floods that were at least 500 up to 1,000 feet deep, that were tearing through the Channel Scablands, literally ripping the landscape apart. Then the icebergs would ground on valley sides, the flood waters would recede, the icebergs would be left, they're giant icebergs. And as they melted away, they revealed the rocks that they had enchained that were caught up within them, and they're scattered all over the landscape. And you look at that and you think anything that was underneath that 12,800 years ago is gone completely. There can't be anything left of it at all. Utterly destroyed.
And I would encourage people that are interested in this.
Yeah, but what's weird about the Bering Strait story is that it starts around 12 to 14,000 years ago. And during that time is around the same time that this global cataclysm would have took her. And certain things causing glacier dams to melt rapidly, they would have been coming into the entry point, or what scientists is calling the impact zone, the direct impact zone. There's no way you could have had people coming into America when you had a large fluctuation of plant life that had been taken out, animals that had left out, all around 12 to 14,000 years ago. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at large megafauna presence in America, and then you look at megafauna after a certain time period, let's just say 20,000 years ago, you can look at megafauna in North America, meaning large animals. Look at the population of large animals after 10,000 BC. You see almost 70 to 80% of the large animals disappear. And not only that, you see populations disappear. There's no way all the people in America kill all these animals out of just for nothing, right? A lot of the bones they find it, mastodon bones, all these bones they find it, and they're not even having meat took off of them. They're still fully flesh. So there's no way humans went around killing all the motherfucking woolly mammoth and mastodons for nothing. That doesn't even make logical sense. You see what I'm saying?
Please watch the YouTube videos of it, because Randall provides all sorts of video and photographic evidence where you can take a look at the landscape and you get a perspective of how immense this destruction was.
Yeah, it's really important to see that, because it's easy enough to talk about.
Well, we're not going to say there's no ice, because we still see physical evidence of ice north of Minnesota right now. You go north of Minnesota, you're going to be headed into Canada, very, very cold region of North America. You start leading farther north in Canada, you're going to run into areas like Alaska, which is highly present with snow and ice, which shows the leftover impact of the leftover ice that's still there. So if something hit that area or roughly around that area and it rapidly melted ice, right, which caused glaciers, dams, mud floods, all these other things, then it will still be a presence of it still today. You still see it today in Alaska, Canada, leading into the Russia area, you know. Shout out to Think Meter and shout out to Craig for the Cash App donation supporting the Dollar Challenge. For those that don't know, we got something that's called the Dollar Challenge in the Aboriginal community, where we support each platform with $1. You know what I'm saying? It's the least you can do. It doesn't hurt nobody, and it shows gratitude to somebody's time and contribution. So make sure y'all support the channel tagged at the bottom right of the screen. Let's continue the live stream though.
Floods and cataclysms, but actually to see its effect on the landscape directly it has an emotional impact. I felt emotional traveling across the Challenge Scablands, realizing that this was the heart of an event that changed the world completely. And the evidence continues to build. I have, in America before, I've not gone over old ground that I went over in Magicians of the Gods that we covered in the various interviews and podcasts, of which it's really a good idea that people take a look at. But what I have done is added the new information published since 2015, which further supports the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis and the notion that multiple fragments of a giant comet hit the Earth and created an absolute global catastrophe.
So what was the motivation behind creating this book, America Before?
It's a curious mixture of things. I have been exploring the possibility of a lost civilization for more than 25 years. That was the essence of my book, Fingerprints of the Gods, that was published in 1995, that there has been a huge forgotten episode in human history. I continued to follow that in a series of other books. And by the time I got to 2002, when I published a book called Underworld, that followed 7 years of scuba diving on continental shelves, looking for structures that were submerged by rising sea levels at the end of the last ice age, I really felt I'd done it. I felt I'd walked the walk. I'd put out to the public a massive body of information. And I thought my role in this is over. And I can breathe a sigh of relief because it's hot in this particular kitchen. And I can go do something else. And I ended up writing a book about psychedelics. I ended up writing Supernatural: Meetings with the Ancient Teachers of Mankind, about the role of psychedelics in the origins of the human story. But then new information started to come out that touched on the lost civilization idea. And I couldn't just stand by and ignore that information. That's why I published Magicians of the Gods in 2015. And then as I was researching that book, I became aware of something I hadn't realized before, that there's a mass of new information from the Americas, specifically from the Americas, which completely rewrites the story of human history, that the Americas have been misrepresented for a very long time by archaeology. And archaeologists will be annoyed with me for saying that. They have a way of forgetting their own errors, of saying, oh, well, we knew that all along. It wasn't the case. The fact of the matter remains that for the best part of 50 years, from the 1960s through until about 2010, American archaeology was locked in a dogma that they actually had a name for, which was Clovis first. That they invented a name for a culture. They called them the Clovis culture. We don't know what they called themselves. They were hunter-gatherers. They first appear in the archaeological record 13,400 years ago, and they vanished from the archaeological record 12,600 years ago. And for a very long time, it was maintained adamantly that these were the first Americans, that no human being touched the soil of the Americas until 13,004.
Now listen, they saying that there was no human presence in America before 13,000 years ago. And this was the leading scientific consensus. This was the general consensus. This was contemporary at the time. That means this was the universe module. They still teach this today. They haven't even rechanged it. It is classified pseudo by the same people that coined it as established fact, because they found farther data. Now listen to this.
100 years ago, just animals, but no human beings present at all. And any archaeologist who attempted to dispute that dogma, and I use the word deliberately, there should be no room for dogma in science, but any archaeologist who challenged that would face severe problems with his or her career. they would be mocked and humiliated at conferences, like an archaeologist called Jacques Cinq-Mars from Canada, who excavated in the Yukon, humiliated at conferences, insulted, accused of making stuff up. Their research funding would be withdrawn. Basically, to challenge Clovis first was the end of your archaeological career. So naturally, very few archaeologists wanted to challenge Clovis first.
What was this gentleman in the Yukon? What was his?
He's called Jacques Cinq-Mars. And interestingly, the Smithsonian, just in 2017, did a big kind of mea culpa, a big admission about this, that everybody had got things wrong, that Jacques Cinq-Mars had been ruined by the Clovis first lobby, but he'd been right all along. The site he excavated in the Yukon was re-excavated in 2017. And
for those that don't know, that's why they started doing the DNA analysis and looking in the North Carolina area, because of this guy digging at the Clovis first site. They started digging and finding Clovis pieces and, 12, 13,000 years. But what they did was, in the community, in the scientific community, they don't want you to dig deep. They like, ain't no point to keep digging deep because we know it wasn't people here before this particular time. You see what I'm saying? So that's how they work. The deeper you find shit, the older it is. Okay, so the higher you find shit is the younger it is. The deeper it is, the older it is. Okay, I just want y'all to keep that in mind.
Every single thing he said was correct, even though they had just sneered at him.
And what year was he?
He was excavating in the 1980s and the 1990s.
Is he still alive?
He's still alive. He's still alive. Yeah.
Is he better?
Well, I think he's vindicated, and it's kind of nice to be be Yes. That there's almost a place in folklore for the individual who is scorned and humiliated, by others, but who turns out to be right, and he was right. But
and that's a unique point right there to me. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of this information that I'll be putting out dealing with the Aboriginal history, lineage, I know I'm right on. And a lot of people coming here that's Pan-African, they might not understand it yet, but only to come back to me later on in the future. They're going to come to me later on in the future. We're going to see each other again, and they're going to say, brother, you was right. And it's going to be another aha moment like I have been getting since I came into this community. A lot of people discredited it, only to come back to give me the props and agree that the information we're putting out is right, even Pan-Africans. Even ones that challenged us on open air, like Garfield Reed from the Dagger Squad. Challenged the information for years, wanted to set up a debate, only to get a message from him, a long message, a couple messages, want me to come on his channel to do a build about it, and he agrees with the information. So, and this is the things that make you say, these are the aha moments.
Dig below the Clovis layer, because we already it meant was, since it was the dogma that Clovis was first, that the oldest dates were 13,400 years ago, there seemed to be no logic to archaeologists in digging deeper. You know how it is with archaeology, that the upper levels are the youngest, and the deeper you go, the older it gets. That's why we say upper Paleolithic for the late Ice Age and lower Paleolithic for the late Stone Age and lower for the older Stone Age. And the feeling was no need to dig below the Clovis layer, because we already know that there were no human beings there before that. And then a few archaeologists, I've mentioned Jacques Cinq-Mars, but another is Al Goodyear from the University of South Carolina, Al
Goodyear, that's who did the Topper site. For those that don't know about the Topper site, they found one of these pyramidal mounds in Topper, and which found evidence of human activity going back 50 to 70,000 years in South Carolina.
Excavated a site called Topper in South Carolina. Now, Topper is an incredibly rich Clovis site. It's full of their tools, their points. They made these special flint points that were used as arrowheads and spears. A great Clovis site. He finished excavating the Clovis level, and then he did something that was supposed not to be done. He decided to dig deeper. And he carried on digging down, and there was a layer of about 1.5 meters of barren soil, and then beneath that, more human artifacts. And they finally date those back to more than 50,000 years ago. And then in 2017, published in Nature by Tom Desmarais, who's the chief paleontologist at the San Diego Natural History Museum, and a bunch of other very high-level paleontologists, published in Nature magazine, evidence for human presence in North America 130,000 years ago. Now, this has really put the cat amongst the pigeons. Now, if humans were present in North America 130,000 years ago, and archaeologists have been telling us for 50 years that they were only present from 13,000 years ago, that's 10 times as long that we've had humans in North America capable of doing stuff. And the archaeological dogma has prevented any search for what they were doing until very recently.
What was the evidence from 130,000 years ago?
Okay, so it's not the, let me be clear about this, because this is something that is often misrepresented in my views. It is not the evidence for an advanced civilization that we find 130,000 years ago in America. The evidence that we find is evidence for human presence. And what they were doing was very much Stone Age stuff. It's a mastodon. It's a mastodon skeleton that was excavated. It was actually found by accident during road construction near San Diego. And an archaeologist was attached to the road construction crew and immediately stopped construction. And they investigated it thoroughly. And what they found was so much dynamite in the early 1990s when they found it that they decided not to publish at the time. Because what they found was evidence that those...
So listen, I'm going to stop this video right there. I just wanted to play that simple part where it gets into how the archaeologists in a scientific community stays dogma. They stay stagnant. It's a form of a cult mentality, uniform terrorism, where they don't want to change information based off of them just being lazy for it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to A.V. for the Cash App donation, and shout out to Lim Hendricks for the Cash App donation. He said for peace and resilience. Appreciate that. And the other brother, Lim, said, where can I find this interview? It will be in the description box of the video at the end of the video. So make sure y'all go at the end of the video, go get in the comment section, leave a comment. Let me know y'all fuck with the channel. You feel me? And go to the description box. And you can, you know what I mean? Watch the full 2-hour and 30-minute video. That's at hand right there. You feel what I'm saying? It's a great conversation. Gets into a lot of different topics. From like he said, the topper, California presence of humans here 130,000 years ago, to Olmecs, to everything, man. It's a great conversation. Y'all should look into that. Let's get into the next one that we got up in here, man. Can we get some fire emojis in the chat from the Aborigines and from the FBA brothers and sisters? My family, can we get some fire emojis in the chat? The vibes right. I mean, I look a little sleepy in the chat. Let's go.
White people based on them aggrieving or harming a black person. That's a strict, unwritten code of white supremacy. This is why, for example, we've just
we're going to get into the main topic at hand. You see what I'm saying? The main topic at hand. Who are the blacks in America? You know what I'm saying? Africans or Americans? Who are they? You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real.
The risk that's given a pass. And that's how white supremacy works. If you're a white person and you harm a black person, there has to be a international outcry in order for you to be remotely punished. So there's no canceling in that respect. And that's the problem.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I think that kind of makes sense based off of the question I had, because I was like, well, I mean, I don't think they're doing it for this reason. And I'm like, it doesn't seem to me that like foundational black Americans have the power really, unless, you know, there's a huge outcry from them to cancel somebody, you know, generally speaking. And so it would make sense that yeah, what you're saying does right. Kind of answer that question for me. So
that's the case. That's the problem. Because when people harm us, a lot of times we don't have the power to do anything about it. When a person is white and they harm us, they're protected by the system of white supremacy. And that's what all the protests and all of these things are about. That's what white supremacy is. They can mistreat us and harm us, and we haven't figured out how to produce justice. I don't like to use the term cancel. I just mean produce justice, meaning stopping that person from harming us or punishing that person from harming us, so that the message will be given that anybody else who does it, they will have to suffer punishment as well. Now, we, to a certain degree, with a lot of the protests and outcries and things that's been going on the grassroots level. We have been able to administer a certain level of punishment, but the damn country has to be going up in flames in order for that to happen. It has to go to such an extreme to make an example and to produce a little piece of justice. And it shouldn't have to be like that. You understand? We shouldn't have to have nationwide uprisings in order to punish race soldiers. That's just not good for everybody. That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. And I think it really the answer you gave is starting to make sense. Right. So to summarize, just so I'm like hearing you correctly, so what you're saying is when white people are canceled for, what do you think, let's say, for canceled for saying something about, or again, quote unquote, canceled for saying something about like gay people or whatever that offends the LGBTQ brigade?
Right. And usually even the punishment for that's minimal too. Black people get punished more severely for that, just like with Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart, they found an old tweet where he made a joke and then they kind of spanked him publicly and made him go on an apology tour for some jokes. He's a comedian. The comedy stage is sacred. And white comedians make gay jokes all the time. They don't do that to them. Tracy Morgan, he made a gay joke. They did the same thing to Tracy Morgan. They ran him through the ringer. Now with Dave Chappelle, he made some gay jokes, so they're trying to run him through the ringer. They do not do that with white comedians. They make gay jokes all the time. So again, the only people who really get canceled or attempted to be canceled are Black people. Even with white people doing LGBT jokes, they really don't get canceled. Again, they'll get transferred at worst, but they really don't get canceled.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting. I could probably go on asking you a bunch more questions, but I'm sure other people want to speak.
There you go. Thank you so much, David. Let me get some more people on. Okay. Get some more people on here. All right, a lot of people in here. Let's get Rennie. Let's get Rennie, the person with some anime on their page. Let's get Rennie. What's up, Rennie? Turn your microphone on. If you can turn your microphone on, that would be.
I'm sorry. Hello, how are you doing today?
Hello, Rennie. How are you, sir?
I am well. I had a bit of a question. So.
Hold on, Rennie. Hold on. Now, where are you from, Rennie?
I'm from Virginia, actually.
Virginia. You're a white male from Virginia?
No, actually, I'm a black male.
Really? Okay. Interesting. Black male into anime. Where's your family from, Rennie?
My family's from Alabama and New Jersey.
Are you and your family descendants of slaves in America?
Yes, we are.
Okay. All right. How long have you been into anime, bro?
Quite a while. Probably since my early teens.
Okay. Interesting. Not a lot of foundational Black Americans are into anime like that. Interesting. Oh, but go ahead.
I had a question, and I recognize it.
Hell no. That dude's talking ain't black there. That's what I'm thinking.
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, my man?
I'm good. What do you call him?
First of all, why'd you have to come at Rennie like that? You had me over here dying for no reason. Why you have to call that man out?
Yeah. That point.
It's not deception. It came out of the guy's mouth several occasions. That's how he's described it.
Lies come out of people's mouths all the time, ma'am. Just like deception is coming out of your mouth, ma'am, by telling us that that's an okay symbol and not a white supremacist hand sign.
It's actually, that's what I'm saying. It actually is.
I ain't gonna lie. I didn't know what the hell anime was till like 2 years ago. I didn't know what the fuck the anime was.
You look at
I thought it was a cartoon show.
That's how you say okay. So
you can use hand signals for different things. You do know that, right?
Yeah, so if the one day white supremacists decide to use the peace symbol as a symbol, are you going to say anyone who uses that symbol is a white supremacist?
So, ma'am, when they went out there to Charlottesville, all of those white supremacist groups, throwing up the same hand signal. Are you
Yeah,
saying?
but white supremacists are slow. They're
Are
really
you
slow.
saying, ma'am, that all of them were just saying okay to each other? Is that what you're saying?
White supremacists are slow people
I didn't ask what
who
they
are clearly
were,
adopting symbols that have nothing to do with them.
but
And unfortunately, it's just,
but you give symbol significance. That's what you do. And they gave those symbols or that particular symbol a certain significance. This is why they flash it at each other, so they can try to quote unquote hide in plain sight. That's the purpose of a hand signal, so that you can communicate a message to another person to let them know that you're on code with them. And by you trying to sit here and tell us that they're just coincidentally flashing the OK signal, that sounds like you're on code with them. Turn your microphone on, ma'am.
oh, it said you muted me. It said you've been muted.
Hey, can we get everybody to hit the like button? We're gonna take a quick 60-second break so y'all can hit the like button. I probably dropped the link in the chat, man. I'm gonna do an open panel. I ain't did a straight open panel in a while. So man, hit the like button. Let's get 300-400 people here. We might even drop the link today, man. We might even drop the link today. Let's get a couple hundred more people in here today. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
See, my life has been in motion. I'm a little winded. I'm not giving up yet. If you with me, time to place up your bet. Ain't no turning back. Got niggas who ran. When we caught his ass, got caught in that jam. Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah, you know who I am. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. Yeah, you can feel it coming. Fake love, that snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it.
I guess motherfucker be forgetting that shit is, I don't know, you know, I see people Goku did. I recently figured out that was a damn anime. Pokemon, all that. I thought it was just a damn cartoon when I grew up. You know, I was ready to go watch cartoons because I didn't know it had an official name like anime when I was growing up. You see what I'm saying? And after I hit a certain age, I quit watching all cartoons. You see what? Hey, I just thought it was a cartoon, y'all. I'm sorry. So I do watch some anime, I guess. I have. Hey, I just dropped the link in the chat too, by the way. So the link is in the chat.
Together would be the most strategic thing. We got time. We don't just grab a whack bag that's already flawed. If we're going to get something, let's take our time and make sure we get it the right way. And the Democrats, they can crash and burn to hell for all I care right now because they are the worst. And we have time, so we're not in a rush. You feel me?
But you know, it was the Republicans that kicked it off when they promised us the 40 acres and a mule, and then they took it back. They kicked the shit off, though.
And the Democrats were right along with them again. They shift parties, man. Let's be very clear. The Republicans and Democrats, those are just little empty titles. These people will switch hats. The Confederate flag, as we know it, that's something that the so-called Democratic Party created. The Dixiecrats, they were running around with Confederate flags. And now who's running around with Confederate flags? The Republicans. Who's protecting these Confederate monuments? The Republicans. Unite the right. That's what they were doing. It was the right that was out there in Charlottesville protecting Confederate monuments that were initially Dixiecrat monuments. You understand? So it's birds of the same feather, man. So we shouldn't get caught up in that. I don't care what.
Which is two more reasons to not vote Republican. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
how? Because what's the difference between a Republican and a Democrat? They switch parties, man. They're one and the same. They're one and the same, brother.
Can we get some likes in the building? Can we get the likes? Can we get the likes ran up? I just dropped the links in the chat. I'm gonna just play another video that I've been wanting to listen to anyway. We're just gonna switch around. It's the Wake and Bake show, man. We just doing whatever.
Oh, and their influence on later peoples we do know existed.
I'm saying they're physical objects. I say Göbekli Tepe is one of them. I say the Sphinx is another.
But see, this is that argument from either ignorance or personal incredulity. I don't accept the mainstream, or I can't think of how this pyramids could have been built. Therefore, it was built by somebody else through some other technology.
That's not what he's saying. They're just post-dating it.
I'm saying the Sphinx is older. I do go with Robert Schoch's argument on the geology. I'm also very interested in the astronomy of the site. And again, I have slides that I could show on this if we have time. You might want to get into Ed Krupp's criticism of the Orion correlation and why he says it's upside down. I can talk to you about that. You know,
we do. I mean, I know Ed Krupp's argument about that, and that was from the 90s, I think.
What's your thoughts on Robert Schoch's conclusions?
I don't. That's something I know much about.
Well, you should.
That's a huge factor. It's a huge factor. Because
your Mark Defant knows about Schoch, and he rejects him on the basis of that paper.
Yeah,
and that paper really doesn't date the Sphinx. It works with dating.
Hey, so this is a debate between two white men scientists arguing whether or not there's ancient civilization before 12,000 years or not. You see what I'm saying?
Of large blocks in the valley and the Sphinx temples. There's not a single sample taken from.
All right, Khalil, what you smoking on, man? We smoking on Shark Lotto, nigga. Big Aboriginal Power OG, nigga.
All right, then who dated it?
Who dated it? Liritsis and Vafiadu.
And then why do mainstream archaeologists not accept the older date for the Sphinx? And the answer is because they have a bunch of other evidence that points to the date that they think.
The answer is to your question is very simple. Mark Lehner and Zahi Hawass put it on record back in 1992, when John Anthony West and Robert Schoch first presented the rainfall erosion evidence on the Sphinx. And what Lehner and Hawass said is, the Sphinx can't possibly be 12,000 plus years old because there was no other culture anywhere in the world that was capable of creating large-scale monumental architecture like this. Show me one other structure that's capable of doing that. Well, they could say that in 1992, Michael, but they can't say it in 2017, not since Göbekli Tepe's been
excavated. If you don't mind, Graham, could you please, for people, so this could be a standalone thing, people could understand, what is the argument about the Sphinx, the enclosure of the Sphinx? And Dr. Robert Schoch from Boston University, who's a geologist, what was his conclusion?
What Schoch is saying is that the Sphinx and the trend of which the Sphinx is cut bears the unmistakable evidence of precipitation-induced weathering caused by exposure to a substantial period of heavy rainfall. And that is particularly pointed out in the vertical fissures in the trench. So you see, the Sphinx itself has been subject to so much restoration over so many years that it's difficult for people.
We got somebody on the panel, so I'm going to pause the video right quick. Drop them fire emojis in the chat. We got Jesse Stevens on the panel. What's going on, Jesse? You gotta unmute yourself, Jesse. Can I hear you, Jesse? Can't hear you.
Howdy. Am I muted?
Oh, I can hear you now, brother. Where you from? Where you calling from?
Oh, we talked before. I'm from Grand Junction, Colorado. That's the western Colorado. Do you need me to unmute myself?
No, you already unmuted. I can hear you loud and clear. I see you just took your camera off.
It's a delay. It's a delay, partner. That's what it is.
I don't remember talking to you. You was a white man from Colorado. I guess. We're gonna catch this in about 30 seconds, I guess. So what was your point of coming on here for, though, sir?
So yes, a white man from Colorado.
Yeah, what was your point of coming on here? I'm gonna give you the floor since you got a bad delay.
Well, I mean, I don't have it any point. I don't, cause I really I am a fan of the content. I've been listening to your man talking about Tepe, or yeah, it's pretty interesting. And so growing up here as a white man, you know, and understanding the history that you know, you Asian Americans or whatever. I've collected these Clovis points, looked at them, you know, and when you look at them, they don't look that old. I don't have any points. Fan of the content. You all have a good one. Be cool if we could maybe have a more interface conversation, but maybe y'all ain't interested in talking to a white man anyway. But I dig it. I understand. Peace.
Yes, it's all good. I think you got a bad delay. I would like to get into the actual conversation of the science at hand, but maybe you can get off and come back on. Maybe we can fix your delay. That's the issue.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, have a good one, man.
All right, take it easy, man. Shout out to you. Be safe. All righty, y'all. Shout out to Antoinette Johnson for the cash out donation. Shout out to Antoinette. I don't know what the hell that was about. Sheesh. Oh, damn. Esau came out of nowhere. All right, let's get. Tell them to call in. Goddamn. Let me drop the call in number for you guys in the chat. I will drop the call in number.
Even see the core.
Let me go ahead and drop the call in number for you guys right now. Let me drop that call in number for y'all. Hold on. Drop. Hey, where y'all at in the chat, man? Drop them fire emojis. Don't go nowhere. All right, the link, the call-in number is pinned in the chat. So make sure y'all hit the call-in number.
Over so many years that it's difficult for people to even see the core body of the Sphinx today. But it's these, you can see the vertical fissures even down at the back of there. That is what shock counts as rainfall, precipitation-induced weathering, heavy rainfall, which is selectively removing the softer layers and leaving the harder layers in place. And the problem is we don't have that rainfall in Giza, in Egypt, 4,500 years ago. You have to go back much earlier to get that rainfall. That's the suggestion.
So that's the suggestion by Robert Schoch, independently of your conclusions.
Totally independently, yeah. Schoch disagrees with me on many things, as a matter of fact, and I disagree with him on many things, but I think he's on the money on this.
So that alone would set back at least that one. I mean, it's pretty much established that the Great Pyramid of Giza was constructed about 2,500 BC, right?
There's absolutely no doubt that a huge project went on at Giza around 2,500 BC.
So your argument is not that the whole thing was that much older, was that parts of it seem to have been from an earlier civilization, or at least that civilization far, far earlier than
I would say that the ground plan, what we have at Giza, the basic layout of the site, was established in what the ancient Egyptians called Zep Tepi, the first time. Astronomically and geologically, I and my colleagues suggest that the first time can be dated to the period of about 12,500 to 13,000 years ago. That was when the site was laid out, because there's intriguing astronomical alignments of the Great Pyramids to the Belt of Orion. I know Ed Krupp has a completely opposite view on this, and of the Great Sphinx to the constellation of Leo, rising due east, how the sun on the equinox, the astrological age of Leo. Again, I have slides I can.
And that would align with the geological evidence that Robert Schoch concludes.
It aligns with the geological evidence.
You funny as hell.
The age of Leo pretty much exactly spans the Younger Dryas, as a matter of fact.
And so the only argument against that at the time was that there were no other structures like that from 12,000 years ago.
Correct. And then Krupp said that the Orion correlation wasn't real because it was upside down. I mean, do you want to get into that now?
Well, first, that's not the only argument. It's that, okay, if the Sphinx is built, or the layout for the whole thing is built in say 10, 11,000 years ago, and then the pyramids are built, 2,500 BC. What happened in between? Where are all the people, the trash, the places where they lived?
Well, there's a bunch of different styles of construction,
something like
but not dated in between.
I would propose, Michael, something like a monastery, which has a relatively small archaeological footprint, is on the site. I mean, the idea of information, knowledge, and traditions lasting for thousands of years within a religious system shouldn't be too absurd to us. I mean, Judaism is dealing with ideas that are already best part of 4,000 years old if we go back to Ur of the Chaldees and so on and so forth. So that's all I'm suggesting, really, that the idea is preserve, maintain, that the survivors of the on the site, but in something like a monastery, which is
we got a couple more brothers on the panel right now. Shout out to Mr. Miyagi and shout out to 111 Truth Searcher on the panel. Peace to you, brothers. How y'all feeling this Great Grand Rising?
Peace to you, brother. Truth, peace of gods, man.
Hey, P, Chief, what's good to the guys, man? What's good?
Hey, is the pale skin still on here that was talking a few minutes ago? That's why I came on here to address his ass.
No, he wasn't on here.
Well, first off, don't come here talking about you white. Let's start there. Let's stop that bullshit. Okay? Because I would have definitely checked that in the door. I'm a white man from Colorado. No, first off, you're a cracker from Europe. Colorado is Negro land. First, America is Negro land. Y'all came here. So let's be clear. White is a racist status that we do not push over here. We don't push black. We don't push white. We don't push none of the bullshit that you're talking about. So coming over here with that bullshit gonna get you definitely chopped the fuck up, to letting you know. You're a pale-skinned Slav, sir. Descendants of slaves. Now, only problem I got with Tariq Nasheed, this is the only problem I fucking got, Tariq. Stop saying that slaves, niggas is slaves, niggas slave culture, slave this, slave lineage, slave fucking. I literally heard the nigga say slave lineage. Man, stop the bullshit. They have a slave culture, slave lineage. Slavs, Yugoslavia, Slavic people are fighting each other right the fuck now. Slav on Slav crime. Now, goddamn it, don't come over here talking about you a fucking cracker.
What the hell you
fuck
think
out of
you
here, man.
beef is? That's Slavic on cracker or hunky on pizza. Nigga, it's the same thing.
Right, but I'm saying though, like, dude came over here just to like, dude, we don't play that white shit over here. I'm a white man. No, you a cracker from motherfucking Europe, nigga. Ponte Steep. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Don't come over here talking crazy, bro. Like, I don't like that. And once again, say what?
I don't know where the fuck them white people from. I know they ain't from this motherfucker. That's what I do know.
That's a fact. But once again, though, like, even when we talk about Graham Hancock punk ass, 130,000 years, be like, it was niggas here, bro. Stop all that. But we could prove that 13,000 years ago, it was Negroes here in Florida, Massachusetts, Illinois, Mexico, California, everywhere. We could prove that.
To be scientifically accurate, they don't have any human bones going back 130,000 years. But one can best speculate. One can best speculate that they are Negroes based off of the large quantity of bones found up in America, leading back to 10 to 12 to 13,000 years. We can collect those and make an assumption, not an established or authority fact. Just to be fair to the viewers.
Yeah, I mean, but going back to that though, like, you know, just the whole Africa out of Africa is fake. The slave narrative is fake. We were not slaves. They are the Slav slaves. Period. This is not a slave country. Slavery was never legal in America, ever.
We gotta get into the actual history. Just to be fair, the terms and words slaves was applied and used to our people, but we have to know what these words mean and what these words actually was used actively at that time. That's etymology of the word. So an enslaved person or a slave could be another word for an employer or an employee. You see what I'm saying? So it's not as simple as saying, oh, it ain't this, it ain't that, or yes or no. It's a little more complex, and it deals with it, and it needs elaboration. You see what I'm saying? Our people was POW. So when you're dealing with a group of people that is potentially being POW or what we could say exiled in our own land, certain conditions come with that, and only a certain groups of people in America has went through these certain conditions.
So Jesse, we're not mad at all. Just edifying your ass, straighten you out. First off, white is a status. White is a part of a. Hold on, brother. White is a part of a social construct, a racist social construct. Hey, Jesse Stevenson, are you a racist bastard? Because if you're not, then you know white is a part of being racist, just like black is part of being racist, a part of a caste system. Now, if you're over here to build, you can come over and build, but nobody's mad. But I'm going to definitely check your ass, come over here with your white talk, because we don't use that over here. We don't allow nobody to come over here. What else do you have other than that, sir? You can come back on the panel and talk about it. Don't be in the chat room, chatty patty, my nigga, when you know you can come on here and use your voice. Real talk. So I just want to let y'all know that we're not allowing pale people to use white anymore. So stop it and stop allowing them to use black against you.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm so much focused on why people getting correct that I don't give a fuck what they call themselves. Okay, they could be SpongeBob for as I give a shit. You understand me? I'm focusing on us. We can't be worrying about what the fuck they call themselves, kind of meat they eat, how they shower. We don't give a fuck. We need to stop focusing on other motherfuckers. That's not our concern. Because once we get concerned with them, they feel like they can get concerned with what we going on. And what we got going, don't fucking concern them neither.
You just taught me something. I didn't even know they take showers. Keep going.
Yeah, me neither. I was just saying, like.
First off, we got to AP, we got to talk about this African party that you was at, nigga, last night.
Man, get that booty scratching ass shit up out of here, nigga.
Nigga, hey, I wasn't at the African party. I caught AP. Look, nigga, I caught AP in the middle of the night at the goddamn listen to some goddamn Afrobeat. You gonna have to explain this, brother.
Do you believe that shit? I'm at an African
party. Come on back home.
Hold on, AP, you was eating fufu and listening to Afrobeats, cuz?
Man, he know he was at that goddamn Afrobeat. Nigga, we was all on goddamn Instagram last night, man. It's all. Hey, look, brother, it's all right, man. The answer,
you lying, cuz.
The answers that brought you home, man.
You a funny dude.
Nigga, we was listening to the music. We was on live last night.
Man, I'm just glad that y'all Pan-African started something.
You might have been listening to somebody else, cuz. You weren't listening to Big Al Power, cuz.
Man, I'm just glad the Pan-Africans, you know, they're accepting the LGBT into their community and shit. That's what's up. Y'all bigger than us, bro.
When we was on Pan-African,
that's an LBG channel, bro. That's what I'm talking about.
He not on that, bro. Just hear brother with a light voice or whatever. We talking against that shit. But that's why we talking against all that liberal shit and all that, because that weirdo shit. We talking about liberal and conservative. All that shit is coming from the goddamn liberal side and shit like that. This is shit that niggas was voting for. Niggas was voting for Bernie Sanders. Niggas was voting for all this Democrat shit. Them the main motherfuckers that's pushing that shit in the goddamn community. Not just the Pan-African community. They got niggas, Jim Jones and goddamn, then they got see-through blouses on and shit. And fucking, well, who was that? Lakeith, or whatever his name is, the dude that play on ATL. This nigga got on stockings, man. We gotta talk about this shit. They weaponizing this shit heavy, bro.
He had on what?
Stockings, man. It was two of them. He had on heels on one. He had on stockings, and then he had on heels on another picture recently.
Lakeith did that?
I don't know if it was with GQ.
Lakeith did that?
Lakeith, man. Yeah, Lakeith and Jim Jones was modeling with the little see-through blouse shirt on and shit, little purple see-through blouse shirt recently. This just happened, like in the past week.
Hey, tell Jesse he can call in.
We gotta stop this weaponizing, bro. They weaponizing.
Numbers in the chat as well, man. So make sure y'all hit that call-in number. The call-in number is in the chat, you guys. So make sure y'all put that up.
Hey, back to what Chief was saying, right? We got to do away with these crayon box, right? Even the darkest motherfucker we see is a dark derivative of brown. And even the so-called whitest person we see is really just the lightest form of beige, pinkish, to be honest and shit. I ain't never seen nobody the same color as no white construction paper. So, you know, man, these status words, they got to be done away with, man. You feel me? In a real way. You know, man, that shit get hella confusing. Well, it ain't confusing, but we look hella stupid calling the motherfucker something that they look nothing like on some G shit.
But I mean, I get what Chief is saying with the whole status thing, bro. Like, white and black has been put in the caste system. We gotta, you know, we know that. We know it's been put in the caste system. Caste system been around forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, black is considered everything that's below the belt. You know, black this, black male, black. We know that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if like I understand what Aboriginal Power is saying, if we out here focusing on that all the time and we not building, you know what I'm saying? I mean, does it even matter? You know, we got to be building some shit. I need to be able to go to Ad Power Business or whatever he's doing over here and support him and making that money that he's making. I mean, looking at that money he's making and watching it circulate back in our community and stuff like that, man. You know what I'm saying? While even though everybody, you know, we do have to talk about things like that, but at the same time, we got to build. Cause like I said, I'm around a bunch of Arabs, bro, and these motherfuckers build. Niggas have sat there and told me, the barber, like, look, Arabs was coming to me a lot getting their haircut. As soon as they opened that first Arab barbershop up, they people told them, don't go to them niggas no more, even though they getting fucked up ass haircuts, but go to your people. And we gotta focus. If we're talking about building, we gotta focus on building, bro. Period, point blank. We talk about, oh, we're gonna have a nation in this nation. Okay, let's build. Talk about this land. You feel me? Talk about these businesses. Talk about these communities, man.
Right, man. What's up, Luke? We got Luke in the building, man. What's good?
Hey, what's going on, Jess? Do you still got that badass delay? Or you good? What's going on, Jess?
I don't know. Mic check 1, 2. You hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, it ain't a delay. You good?
I don't want no delays, man. I don't want to cause no problem.
All right, now you good. You got the floor, man. Go ahead. You got it.
I don't have nothing to say still. I'm just a big fan of the content. I didn't mean to, if I was going to be asked about, like, I'm not classified as a white because I'm mixed blood with a Native American on the federal. Shit, I thought I was talking.
Hello, can you hear us?
Fuck. Hey, man, I guess I'm gonna bounce out again.
We can hear you, bro. We hear you fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just quiet so you can get the flow, bro. You know, that's why you don't hear us talking. So why don't you tell us about your Native American family?
My Native American family? Okay, I'm gonna take my headphones off. Sorry, I'm getting. Can you hear me?
Yeah, take them janky headphones off, sir. Please take those.
My Native American family.
$5 Indian headphones off, sir. Go ahead. You got the
I
floor.
took them off. I can hear you now. I was just hearing all the feedback. So, like, my family is I could only describe my family as mixed. Like, I can't really speak on like identity to the reservation because they're 2 generations removed from that, you know. So, and then like as far as Native American families that I know, like from Oglala in South Dakota, that's a completely different thing, you know. As far as their cultural identity is very, very traditional, and they don't call it racism. Like, they're how they feel about the white man, and they do feel a difference, man, in their racial identity. Like, whether that's a fucking shade of color difference or not, they feel away, you know. But
this is another thing that a lot of you pale skins do.
Sure.
Y'all usurp and cloak under various different ethnicities, right?
Right.
Phenotypically and classification wise, you're classified as a white, right?
That's why I responded the way I did. It wasn't being no racist, but that's like that's just an agreement. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is really. If it was to, like, if we were to like really boil down the genetics, people are gonna go by what the majority is of their bloodline. And if I was to look at mine like a scientist, that's what it is. So, I mean, I deal with honesty and facts, and that's how you start building it from a foundation. I don't mean to say I'm a white man. I know that's white people, but yeah.
What I'm saying is, I really, yeah, it's like y'all adapt and usurp another's culture. So what I'm saying is potentially, Jess, what part of Europe is your lineage from, sir?
Europe?
Yeah.
The ancestry come from the European ancestry comes from my grandfather's side, and it comes from Scotland. I do believe, but I don't know anything about my mom's side. I honestly don't. They come from the Middle East on my mom's side.
Right. Middle Easterners
But when
are
you
white
talk,
because Iran is still white people or Caucasians.
Right.
Iran means Aryan, nation of Aryans. So,
yeah. So I mean, I mix. I don't ever describe my genetics as anything other than that, as biracial, man, because that's what it is. When I look at because my Native American roots come from my grandmother, and they passed down through the grandmother the rights of the tribe, what do you call it, whatever it is, because I don't know the history, man. It's all a bunch of
what
fucked
I
up
heard
shit.
is you said your people is from Scotland, and then you said your people is from the Middle East.
Yeah, but we're talking 300.
I'm trying to figure out what
we're talking 200 years ago.
American. You see what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is potentially like I said, your ancestors came here and try to reap the benefits of the indigenous people, and with doing so, they was willing to pay and get on certain classifications for benefits.
But can I say something about that?
Go ahead.
I understand what that is, and I've seen it, because culturally that's just adjacent to actually like a Native American family. How would you differentiate the difference? Because I don't understand that at all. Because for us to go to the reservation, we had to go through years of birth certificates. We had to figure it out. And I know the history of all my family. They go back to the original charging clouds that were on that reservation. I could just see my family get suffocated into being a white family of what I am right now. I don't ever try to fucking lie about that. That shit's disgusting. But I know what you're talking about. And if you go to a modern reservation, you'll see a fucked up situation. There are no dirt paved roads, and there's still crackers fucking living right there, still leeching off the shit. That's the $5 shit you talk about. It's not like it's a fucking old thing. It's a modern disgusting shit, and there's a history of it. I know all about that. I'm just saying, like, if you're a real Native American, you fucking know about your cultural identity, and you're trying to live away from the reservation. And I mean, I'm all about, fuck, man, I hate all this topic. You could use my fucking lineage to take this all apart and dismantle the European white supremacist system. Oh, I'm fucking for everything, man. I just fucking, it is what it is, man. But I'm with the shit.
No, that's all good.
Here for you all.
I thought you came on to talk about I know you initially came
cause no problems.
Talk about. I know you initially came on to talk about Gobekli Tepe and the agriculture and that conversation. So, what did you want to input on that, sir?
Well, I don't say I haven't read all those books from Graham Hancock, man. I liked you. The fucking thing is, when I have some of these points, man. You find them in Colorado, you will find them in southwestern regions. You could do your own paleontology research for the folks out there. Let's just, and I've done it, and you can pick these things up, and it's I think that America is the foundation. They need to fucking get rid of the dogma bullshit, and dig further. That's all I have to say about that. That shit's crazy.
Right. And the farther you dig, this continent becomes a Negro continent, and contributions strictly by the Negro, indigenous, aboriginal inhabitants of this continent. So So, as Native Americans, they are just wanderers or some of the earliest invaders or foreigners in our land.
Yeah.
So, which don't really have too much culture that come with them. Very, very primitive culture compared to the Aboriginal Negro culture. So yeah, man, that's what we kind of talk about here, man.
With it.
You get to some of the contributions, especially like the great wonders of the world. It was 7 for a long time, now 8 because of the Aboriginal contributions here.
Yeah.
If you go down to Chichen Itza, you can go see one of the 8th wonders of the world. So we got Brown Wolf on here. What's going on, Brown Wolf?
What's going on, family? What's going on, tribe? What's going on? What's going on, tribe?
What's going on? Yeah,
drip chat. You know I got the drip on. You know I got it on me. What's up, y'all? What's going on, man?
I'm still jammies, nigga.
Hey, I know you got the good designer jammies on.
Yeah. They're nice too.
Hey,
Yo,
man,
look, AP, can you see? All right, when we talk about the pyramids over here in America versus the pyramids and
who they talking? Who's that?
Giza. It's King Cass.
Oh Lord. Go ahead, brother.
So, can you see the evolution? Like you can see the evolution of the pyramid and through the Nile, like where they started, where they messed up at, where they had to reconstruct that. You know what I'm saying? Can you see that in the America?
That's a good question. I see. If we were just to take away sheer dates, names, just look at the actual monuments and how many, size, everything that deals with observation, right? You will see that America's progress in building surpasses Africa by 10 times. We have 10 times the amount of pyramids in America. So just by numbers wise, it's showing an advancement. Then we can deal with large. You see what I'm saying? And then when you want to deal with complexity, you're gonna have to deal with variety. So we got various varieties of pyramids. We don't have one exclusive or excluded standard of a pyramid. We made all factions of pyramid. Even polygraph shaped goddamn pyramids, octagon shaped pyramids here in America. So and not only that, these was directly made for human activity. They got steps in it. It got various different rooms in it. It has corridors in it. It has acoustic barrier rooms for large groupings inside of these pyramids. So they was very, 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 very created for human activity, unlike the ones in Egypt. They don't even have stairs. They had to crack a hole in it to even get in it. They don't have entry points. It was like it was built for nothing. And this shows maybe the de-evolution of a type of science. But go ahead, brother.
That's how advanced the Egyptians are. They still can't figure out. First of all, they can't figure out how did they build such a perfect pyramid, the most perfect pyramid on the earth. You know what I'm saying? Let's say that in Giza, they can't figure that out, and they still find the chambers. They still find the chambers in there. Don't get me wrong. The shit that was built over here was bad. We gonna admit.
So King Cass, logically, hold on. Logically, King Cass. Hold on. Logically, the same people who you saying can't figure something out, why you believe anything they tell you?
You said why I believe? Well, the pyramids exist.
If they say they can't figure it out, but yet you saying what they telling you they know, but they can't figure it out.
I mean, remember, these are the same anthropologists that's going over and excavating. Because you're saying that. You're saying
I'm asking you a logical question. You're saying these people can't figure out how it was made, but they telling you all the facts about it.
One at a time, y'all.
But you saying this is the same anthropologist that's telling you about Mexico too. Remember, This is European. This is the same European anthropologist going down to Mexico doing the excavating and everything. So can you believe them when they tell you, "Oh, this is for this in Mexico, or this is for that in Peru"? Or
no, you can't believe.
You got to make that argument, right?
No,
you got to make that argument.
I'm agreeing. I'm saying I don't believe them. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not saying because they said that this is true. I'm not saying that these guys are saying that this pyramid is the best pyramid in the world, but they also can't tell you how it was made. That's what I'm trying to tell you is that if the same people you're saying have said this the most advanced, perfected pyramid, but they also can't even tell you how it was made. Why do you?
Measurement wise, yes, it's perfect. It's been measured. You know what I'm saying? It's been measured. It's been looked at.
So let me ask you this right here, Cash. Hey, Cash, hold on 1 second before you go farther, bro. So, are the pyramids in America? Aren't they also aligned with the solar system and everything? Right to the T.
I mean, yeah, but
okay, so bro, so hold on, bro.
But they got that from they got that from the Egyptian Zaddy too.
Go ahead and walk them down. Hold on, go ahead and walk them down. Truth, y'all got.
Yeah, but it's not a perfect. It's not a perfect.
All right, so where is the first observatory at to be able to even study the constellations and shit?
I mean, you're gonna find that in Egypt. I mean, the pyramids and the temple.
You're wrong, bro. The first observatory to be able to study the cosmos through what we would call a telescope today will be found in Americas, and it also rotates.
Bro, if they didn't have an observatory or they weren't observing anything, then how the hell would they?
But what I'm telling you is, bro, like you're trying to make it seem like it's this next level shit when the same. Not only do you find fucking pyramids and destroyed mounds, we gotta put destroyed because these motherfuckers.
Y'all can't put all the mounds as pyramids though, because all the mounds are pyramids.
Bro, I made a separation. I said not only the pyramids but also the mounds. So I made a separation, bro. The mounds that they destroyed, right, were all lined up to the T with the constellations in the sky. The same way you trying to cap for Egypt about that shit being like that, you find that shit all over the Americas too. So what are you really saying, bro?
That's what I was asking.
Man, we know the Egyptians. We know the Egyptians, man, was teaching around the world. Bro.
But the Egyptians are not even from Egypt. So where are the Egyptians from?
They're from Inner Africa. The original Egyptians from Inner Africa, bro.
So Africa. We're talking about Bantu. So hold on. Let me ask you this: Africa is known as the land of the constellation eagle.
The Dogon, there's different tribes that study the constellation.
Bro. I asked you a simple question. You went to the Dogon trying to take us to
because if you want to, are you basing this on your white zaddy? Are you basing this on your white zaddy?
I mean, everything about Pan-Africanism was given to you by white zaddy, bro. They the one that gave you African studies in the school, bro.
No,
King Cash, didn't you just say that they don't know how the pyramid was there? That come from white zaddy, bro.
What are you talking about? The pyramid existed before white zaddy touched down, before Napoleon touched down.
Okay,
bro.
so
I mean,
bro,
I asked you a simple question. Is Africa known as the land of the constellation eagle? That's a yes
if
or
you
no.
want to go by your peer reviews, if you want to go by your white zaddy
reviews, bro.
The white zaddy you said accusing me of.
All right, look, bro. Hey, look, I don't even play the semantics, right? Because at the end of the day,
you do play the semantics. You play the semantics all the time.
Damn, Cass, I couldn't even get it out, bro. Look, all I was going to say is this right here, bro. If we're going to accept one information, we got to accept other information, but source up to see where the evidence lie with the information. But we're going to play, the white man gave you this. Then all we're going to do is go back and forth and say the white man gave you that. And that means we need to throw all this shit out the water. Everything that we fucking saying thrown out the water. So
even those cocaine mummies,
you got Nick.
I mean, cocaine mummy.
Hey, bro, that could be scientifically studied. You mean to tell me they don't find ancient plants and be able to study and see what family it come from?
Well, we know about the cocaine mummy.
Okay,
you know
so once again,
bro,
right, and we know the cocaine, the plant that make the cocaine is not indigenous to Africa. So we can go ahead. Okay, so how did it get there? Since you brought it up,
right?
How did it get there?
Well, did y'all see where the guy built the reed boats that they were building in Egypt and sell it? What did he sell it from Europe to America? The white dude that did that. So we know that a reed boat can sell from Egypt if it's built right over to the Americas. You know what I'm saying?
All right, bro. Once again, all I asked you was a simple question, right? When was Africa ever known as the land of the constellation eagle, bro? That's it. You still ain't said you ain't say yes or no.
So
you
Egypt is
keep
not the
bug
land
that.
of the constellation?
Now we gonna stop right. Is it? I'm asking you.
I mean, a lot of their temples and everything are built based on the constellation.
All right, one, is
I
it
mean, we're
known
dealing
as
with
the
Orion's
land
belt.
of the constellation eagle, bro? This is what I'm asking you. That's a yes or
I don't
no.
know. Is this something they call America? I mean, where you basing it from?
I'm basing it on the fact of the origins of the Egyptians, on how they saying that they got to that land, right? Based on the decipherment of the hieroglyphs, if that's the shit y'all into, right? I ain't gonna play the white zaddy shit. I'm just gonna say they deciphered the hieroglyphs. You got niggas around here screaming they speak Meta Netra and can read hieroglyphs. Then if you do, you would know that they origin stories say that they come from the land of the oldest people, the land of the constellation eagle, and the farthest west setting sun. So this is the place that they say that they came from and migrated to that location and built that shit up. So now we need to know, where's the land of the constellation eagle and where's the land of the farthest west setting sun. And we know that. We know they still call this place on those two things to this day. But
That hasn't been confirmed. That hasn't been confirmed. That could be West Africa. That could be West Africa.
Okay, bro.
They talk about they come from the land of Mount which is down the Nile. Go ahead.
The Nile is the land of the farthest west.
No, I'm saying it because they say they also migrated up the Nile too. You know what I'm saying? Up from Mount Meru. That's another story.
How can you say they talk about West Africa? West African history tell you that they migrated to those areas. So that means there's no original ancient history there if the ancient people there migrated there. And there's no written language older than
they could be talking about what is them damn islands?
There's no monumental structure.
They found pyramids on the islands off of Africa.
Listen, hey y'all, this was happening. Listen,
pull it up.
Hold on. Hey, you can always say what could be, but we talking about facts, bro. We say up, you gonna say it could be down.
I did find 2 more pyramids. That doesn't mean shit. We got thousands of pyramids here. Y'all, that'll make y'all have 374 if y'all find a few more pyramids. That's
bro. They just discovered motherfucking Aztecs pyramids 50 miles east in the water of New Orleans. That got overran by water and flood, and I'm pretty sure we can walk it down that when this shit got flooded out. But this is what they just recently discovered. This pyramid structures. They pulled up blocks from this shit. This shit is made in granite. So right now the consensus is that this granite was traveled down the Mississippi River into that region. And they're calling them Aztecs pyramid based on other evidence that they found when they went down there. So it's going to be more studies that come out. And this is what you constantly finding. You finding out that Poverty Point goes back older than the pyramids in Giza.
They're doing the same thing in Egypt. They're actually digging in Nubia, finding stuff in Nubia that's been buried, under other cities. They don't talk about Nubia enough. And they still find the cities that was buried under cities, or different towns that was buried underground.
Bro, black African studies has been based all around Nubia, bro. They got you niggas to take on the African shit with the Egypt shit. And
they haven't touched Nubia because of racism,
you niggas are saying you West African, bro.
Bro, we all know academia has been racist towards the Nubians in the west of Africa when it comes to any development. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so they don't want to admit that these people was melanated people. I will give you that no matter where we at, the Americas, Africa, Asia, when they start going to these ancient civilizations, they find it. They're seeing how these people depict themselves. They're finding other archaeological evidence, and they try to find a way to weasel out the fact that these people is melanated. Nigga, I know it was melanated people all over this planet before anybody. Are you willing to accept that, or did all melanated people just come out of Africa?
No, we know melanated people who came out of. We know melanated people all over. You go to South America, you go to Central America, you see them goddamn Mayans. They melanated.
The data shows everybody going into Africa. Animals.
Shit, the nigga from 7-Eleven melanated.
Even species of plants. You feel what I'm saying?
So why y'all don't accept the 7-Eleven melanated dude as your Pan-African brother? Why is he separated from all the other melanated people? It's like when it comes to the Americas, we African, but these 7-Eleven melanated motherfuckers, they definitely Hindustan.
Because these folks that's in the Americas ain't the melanated people that we are. You know what I'm saying? It's a different melanated people. Now, there's some melanated people sell over here, and like me, right? They talk about the Polynesians selling over to South America and mixing in with those Native American tribes down there. That's the melanated people. Nappy head niggas from the Polynesian.
All right, first off, they got studies that saying that these Melanesians was the first people there before any Mexican can be involved. And secondly, we got to look at the point of this right here. Everything about America got to be somebody coming into America, but they never ever just think like, well, what if people was in America and went to other places? So why don't we see these pyramids all over the Americas and Polynesia or Melanesia if they came here first?
You say, why don't you see the American?
When people go
to, all over shit. They got them in what's that island?
When people go to places, they take their culture with them. So why would people have to wait till they get to a place to start building some shit that you can't find and where the fuck they allegedly came from?
And look at the culture. Look at the culture of the Mayans and all of them with the Jaguar and all that. You see that same shit in Kemet, man. I mean, it's obvious. I don't care what a lot of them Mexicans say or whoever. Like, it just popped up over here. You don't just learn brick masonry out of goddamn nowhere. Somebody had to teach somebody fucking brick masonry. Like, that's just some shit that just not. They just happen to build it over here. This culture formed in a vacuum. That's not true. That's not true. Somebody had to learn brick masonry from somebody. The argument
who taught who, bro?
Right. Well, and my studies is Kemet and Nubia taught the world, bro.
That's what we're trying to tell you, bro.
So where can I go find this evidence showing Kemet going all around the world teaching masonry and pyramid building?
Right,
bro. Again, like I said, we could point to these cocaine mummies. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, only thing about cocaine mummies is to show that something came up out of America into that region. It doesn't say who went which way, right? It just say that there's no way around it. This is cocaine, and we know that comes from America. Now my bad, you got it, bro.
No, you're proving his point. We're saying it. We're telling you it come from America to over there, bro. It's nowhere that says it comes
just
from
because
over
they
there
got
to
no,
here.
just because
Hold on.
There's plenty of people saying that.
You said, sir, he's trying to prove to you that all evidence is showing you it came from over here to over there, but you don't have any evidence showing it came from over there to over here. That's all we're trying to say.
What are you talking about? It's the oldest pyramids and the oldest structures is in Kemet.
No, that's
unless you want to have that Gobekli. Unless you want to have that Gobekli. Okay, so in that case, Gobekli Tepe is older than everybody's shit.
Bro, that's Turkey.
Hold on. We gotta be fair. Gobekli Tepe predates all civilization by 4,000 to 5,000 years. All known civilization, and it's the largest structural monumental structure on the planet, and it's only 27% excavated.
Right, it ain't even all the way excavated. I mean, don't forget about the Indus Valley. Don't forget about the Indus Valley civilization.
But what you find is very exclusive artwork and science that would have gave birth to a lot of Egypt, or had a connection to the people of Egypt, or the connection to the people in this place. If you can go simply look at this, King Cass, if you go type in Gobekli Tepe, go type in enclosure D, pillar 42. Pillar 42, enclosure D. You will see the exclusive high relief carving, which is similar to the Olmec style. But listen, Sir, I'm not going to bore you with all the logistics of the nitty gritty.
But you got to remember, they said the Mississippian culture. But you got to remember, they said the Mississippian culture went down into Mexico too. So if we're supposed to be a tropical people, we melanated and everything, right? How did our culture start here and then go down into Mexico? That makes sense.
I mean, bro, have you ever lived in Mississippi, bro? Because we didn't start getting cold weather in Mississippi until like the late 90s and shit, bro. Matter of fact, growing up in Mississippi, I never even seen snow unless I went up to the Midwest. All that ice and cold weather that's in the South right now is of recent times, literally like within like the last 10 at tops 20 years. So before that, it's always been hot in Mississippi. We used to get 115, 120 degree motherfucking summer heat. You feel me? Still hot in the motherfucking fall time. Hot as fuck in the springtime. California style weather and shit in the wintertime. So all the coldness right now is a modern times and shit, bro.
You talking about the Gulf Coast?
Well, no, we talking about, you said, the Mississippian culture.
Yeah,
even
that's Missouri.
Even in Southern Illinois, sir. I went to Southern Illinois University. I stayed down there. We did not get snow in the wintertime. We got hot ass summers, hot ass falls, hot ass springs, and a mild winter.
But it's still snowing. Look at St. Louis, bro. St. Louis.
That's of recent times, bro.
And you know what's inside that snow? That's not natural snow, bro. It ain't been natural snow for 80 years, bro.
Hey, man, like I said, King Cass, it's a lot of history you got to do, bro, that really just kills that whole narrative, bro. Like, you got to get into the zoo types of the deities.
Peace to the chat. I just got some input as well. Something that you can also research. Scientists have already found Egyptian artifacts coming out of northern Illinois, southern Illinois, parts of Missouri, and throughout Mexico. Egyptian artifacts. Egypt in America is older than the Egypt that was founded in 1953 in Africa. You cannot dispute that. It's what it is.
Give me a second. I'm going to debunk that. Give me a second.
It is what it is. And on top of that, why was Egypt and Africa reconstructed? You have to ask yourself certain questions. You don't hear shit about Mexico being reconstructed or when they dig up shit. You hear shit being destroyed. They tell you they building a scenic site for people to come see. If you look at Cairo, the old city of Cairo in imagery, the old city, you could drive through Illinois right now in Cairo and see the same exact city that they telling you was in Africa. You could drive through that bitch right now, and it's desolate. Ain't nobody even there.
And just to clear the shit up, right? Yeah, snow is reaching its way south now, right? But less than 10, 20 years ago, it wasn't there, like in the wintertime. So I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I ain't basing this shit off no evidence. I don't have to go see no research about this shit. Nigga, I lived in fucking Mississippi, nigga. I traveled to the Midwest back and forth all year. I stayed in Southern Illinois, in Carbondale, where we used to go to Murfreesboro, Mound City, Pulaski, Alexandria, Paducah, Kentucky, East St. Louis, Cape Girardeau, Missouri, even down into Memphis and shit. So no, when I was in school down there, we wasn't getting snow in the summertime. I mean, in the wintertime. That's why a lot of times during the winter breaks, I just stayed my ass down there to avoid the fucking snow back home in fucking Chicago. So to the motherfucker in the chat talking about some, it ain't no snow there. I'm talking about 10, 20 years ago. We not talking about right now, nigga. They got snow in Texas, nigga, now. It wasn't snowing in no fucking Texas.
St. Louis may not have snow like that, but it gets snow there. I mean, the shit, it ain't that far south.
You know, it's hard for a place to snow.
It's snowing in Tennessee, it's snowing all them places. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to. When you stay off a Gulf or a shore, it's hard for snow to land there just because of the salt presence and the content in the air. But listen, we're about to get ready to wrap this show. That's why you never see snow on the ocean. That's why you never see snow falling on the ocean, right? Because of the salt content. Pay attention to that. Hey, we're gonna get ready to wrap this show up though. Shout out to everybody that came through this motherfucker. Shout out to 111 True. Shout out to Indigenous Mind, my big brother Brown Wolf, and shout out to King Cassis. And shout out to
Call
everybody.
a nigga caste system.
Hey, this original caste system, baby.
That nigga funny as hell.
Why
Yeah,
people
that
keep
nigga-
talking about snow last year in modern time? You know what? Yeah, man. I see why you wrapping this shit up.
We
AP.
need to go to
Yeah.
geoengineer with the snow. Why we acting like they're not engineering snow though?
See, we can't really
That's not natural.
prove that. That'd be going in the realm of being pseudo.
Hold the fuck up. Who can't prove?
No,
you
we
did
know.
that?
No, we know that HARP is doing that, but you talking about
It's not
snow
HARP. It's not
over a
HARP.
mass place, bro.
Sir. You know that.
We know HARP is real. HARP is real. I'm agreeing with you on that.
You remember them?
But
You remember them back-to-back
You just said
blizzards
you
they
can't.
had in Michigan in 2000 and what that was 2016, 2017.
Oh yeah, that shit was like
Right, I got
26
caught in that
minutes
shit
straight.
leaving the farm up out of Michigan, going back into Chicago. Right. Let me tell you about this snow. Right now, snow usually is flaky, right? Unless it get cold outside, then it gets solid rock. So you either
Snow
get
melt
two types of snow: the flaky or the hardest rock because it's cold as fuck outside. Right. During that blizzard, right, I got up out of Michigan and into Indiana, close to Illinois border, and the snow kind of stopped. Right. But the shit was stuck on my tires, so I pulled over, right? This snow did not flake off. It didn't just slide straight off like when it's hardened up and shit. This shit was pasty as fuck where it was smearing everywhere,
And it
bro.
don't melt when you light it on fire. It turns black.
That's
What you
when
talking
ice,
about?
we had like some real bad ice on the ground. That's
No, there's
brown.
metal in that snow, buddy. It's called geoengineering.org. Go look it up. They show you, they got samples of what's in the snow. You know, people actually sample the snow and test it, and they find barium, strontium, aluminium. They find all those things in the snow. It's called geoengineering.org. It's been happening for 80. Yeah, go do your research, King Cash.
And Mike
They-
Myers, the reason why African women ain't into it with African men, because they keep castrating their women, nigga. We don't do that to our women. So mind your fucking business, you fucking foreigner.
That part. Yeah, King, you got a lot of research to do, King Cash. I ain't gonna lie to you,
No,
bro.
I know about it. Look, we know about it.
You just said heart.
Look,
You just said heart.
because that's one of the things we seen.
No,
And they
that's
show how
the
they can create a cloud. Everything
You-
we seen it, bro.
No, but that's
Damn,
not.
but you can't influence a whole damn region. You know, we talking about
You can't.
a blizzard would come by like three to four different states. That shit is stretched from damn Illinois over to damn Ohio and stuff like that. Now, influencing something or putting something in there, it's been talk about that. That happened in Washington State with that
No, it's been
goddamn
studies that show. It's been
radioactive
studies that prove it.
ass,
Yeah, it's been
radioactive
studies
thick
that
ass
prove it.
rain that came down. But that's
Well,
in one place though. You can't do that. You can't do that over 5 or 6 goddamn regions.
And see, this is why, you know, man, it's so many
Why can't-
idiots, right? Y'all heard me clearly say that it's either gonna be flaky or hard due to freezing, right? Due to it being super cold, right? I clearly stated that, right? But you got this idiot in the chat talking about it don't get hard unless it's super cold. I said that, you fucking idiot, but you too busy want to react to some shit instead of listening to understanding that dumbass thick wax in your ear, nigga. You need to clean the fuck out. Fucking idiot.
And
My bad, man.
Hey,
And it's
hey,
metal
look, what's
inside
the
the snow.
dude? I want to see. Hold on, I want to see another debate between AP and what's the flat Earth nigga name, man? Flat Earth
Bro,
nigga. That think everything's
Sanchez.
Earth. Yeah, because Sanchez might have an argument. We talk about the Indus Valley and the Kimmer civilization. You gotta look at peep the Mexican, look at the stuff in Mexico and South America. Look how similar the statues, the artwork, and everything look, and then with the dragon and all that shit.
So
Are these
who
the
took
same?
what to
Did them
who
people
then, bro?
That's the thing. Did the Indus Valley civilization, when going down to Cambodia, did they take
How
that
old
shit
is the
over
Indo
to,
Valley civilization? What's the date they give on it?
what did it go back to? Like, well, one of the days like 3000 BC.
Well, Angel Wat, I think they
Y'all-
saying some shit like 12.
Well, Angkor Wat is younger. Yeah, Angkor Wat is younger, but we talk about the Indus Valley up in like northeast India or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I think that go back to like 3000 BC. But peep the artwork, peep the dragon. Yeah, I think it go back to like 3000 BC. The Indus Valley, you got to remember the Indus Valley civilization influence Angkor Wat and all of, they.
So what
practice all
about
the
Corral
Hinduism.
Supe? How old is that, bro?
Is that the one in what's it, Peru? Corral Supe. Which one is that? Is that the one that's in Peru or is that in Central America?
Where's
Hey,
Peru?
can y'all hear me?
Where's Peru?
It's South America.
Yeah, so how old do that go back, bro?
I'm not sure. How old is that?
That's your homework for the night, grasshopper.
Look, man. Y'all set that debate up, man.
Try 5,000 years.
With who? You? With you, bro? I will
No,
put
with
5,000 up to your 500.
Bro Sanchez, bro.
Man, you can't have no debate with dude on his own channel, bro. That shit got to be on a neutral platform or it's a setup.
He don't debate. He don't debate, bro. He argue. He told you that.
That nigga shut moderators down. This nigga was putting everybody off his show.
He don't debate.
Now I gotta mute you.
Hey, look, see, now I gotta mute you. He argue. He don't debate, man.
Yeah, y'all gotta look at that, bro. You not just find the pyramids in Mexico and Egypt, man. They got this shit all over they got this shit in the fucking Polynesian islands. They got that shit. I keep the island, not Cape Verde, it's the other island, bro.
King Cash system. I'm about to wrap this up. I'm about to get out.
All right, peace.
Hey, please appreciate everybody for coming through. 111 True. Hit me up, big bro. Brown Wolf, keep doing your thing, man. Dripping and making the museum cultural art aboriginal again. Shout out to you too, Indigenous Minds. Peace and blessings to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the Aborigine brothers and sisters and the FBA brothers and sisters. Make sure y'all drop them fire emojis. We out of here, y'all. Peace.
All right,
peace.
Whatever it takes. Alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid. Yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid. Yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I put attention, all in my blood, all in my veins. They started with perky, now that hair by numb is veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with dealing, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stern. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid. Yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stern. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid. Yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah.
Lost, see, I glossed too, we shit ain't been the same.